Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Add Gain scent beads for an even longer-lasting scent.
Macy's last-minute gift sale is going on now with an extra 20% off great gift ideas for everyone on your list with your coupon or Macy's card. Not sure what to get? Give a gift card and let them decide. Shop your local Macy's early and late and get your gift orders faster when you pick up curbside or in store. Plus, it's time to spend your Macy's money on anything. No merchandise exclusions. Details at Macy's.com/Macy's Money. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply. Rain or shine, high winds or mild breezes, blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Family to the max. It can all mean pain to the max. So BC introduces new BC Max Strength. New BC Max relieves tough headaches and body pain at the speed of powder. Nothing stronger on pain without a prescription. Pain to the max? New BC Max. In a great tasting lemonade flavor. 'Tis the season for Christmas music magic, and all of your favorite holiday stations are now here with the Odyssey app.
Let it snow with songs that bring Christmas cheer wherever you go.
Warm up your home with holiday music from home entertainment devices like Roku, Chromecast, Sonos, and more.
Just look for the Odyssey app.
Want to access more stations through your car?
Try out Odyssey with Waze or Apple CarPlay. Plus, listen to your favorite Christmas radio stations on your phone with the Odyssey app.
This Christmas, your holiday favorites are all on Odyssey.
Are you looking for a new and exciting profession? Milgard Windows and Doors is now hiring a receiver, Class A drivers, service technicians, delivery coordinators, and production workers for the day and swing shifts. Apply now at www.workatmilgard.com by clicking Current Openings and selecting Sacramento. That's www.workatmilgard.com and select Sacramento.
During this pandemic, from finding the best face masks to making sure their hands are clean. And now we have the best tool to help keep them even safer. The most important thing we can do is vaccinate our kids to protect them against COVID-19. Vaccines have been proven safe and effective for children 5 and up. Talk to your child's doctor or visit myturn.ca.gov to find a vaccine near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
With the holidays right around the corner, don't let rising prices get you down. Stop by your local grocery outlet and save big on all your holiday needs, including last-minute gifts. You'll find plenty of holiday decor, apparel, and of course, socks and slippers. We also have games, puzzles, and holiday plush toys to choose from. And we have some really great candy gifts. Who doesn't love chocolate? With savings of 40 to 70%, your neighborhood grocery outlet is the holiday destination.
Market.
Christmas, there's no greater gift.
Father, Son, and hostage.
Than family.
Gucci is what I say it is.
Who does he think he is?
What game are you playing?
For a family.
House of Gucci. Rated R.
Price. It may sound contradictory for a personal injury firm to wish you a safe holiday season, but we at Ashton & Price wish that no one has to suffer an injury in an automobile collision. But if you're an accident injury victim, you can lean on Ashton & Price to do all the legal legwork. They introduce you to the best medical care providers in the area, so during this holiday season you can focus on your health and your family. So from all of us at Ashton & Price, we advise you to have the happiest and safest of holidays.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
For the innovators and the problem solvers, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. For whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's right, I said it. Let me educate you about this. Banks are now required to spy on us for the government, and they report any behavior they think is suspicious. Man, oh man, I was shocked as I read The Secret War on Cash from Swiss America. This new war against cash is really a war against the Constitution, against all freedom-loving Americans. So listen to me. You must read The Secret War on Cash. Get your free copy, by calling 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646, or visit SwissAmerica.com. Now, this war on cash is growing daily, and it also includes all forms of digital money. So please get and read The Secret War on Cash, free to my listeners, by calling right now, 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646.
Now, Sunday mornings are more comfortable than ever. Although, I still have to make the coffee.
Find your mattress story this holiday season and save up to $1,000 on our wide selection of quality mattresses at Mancini Sleep World. Plus, get a free adjustable base with purchase of any mattress of $6.99 or more. Visit sleepworld.com.
Don't let rising prices get you down. Stop by your local grocery outlet and save big on all your holiday needs, including last-minute gifts. You'll find plenty of holiday decor, apparel, and of course, socks and slippers. We also have games, puzzles, and holiday plush toys to choose from. And we have some really great candy gifts. Who doesn't love chocolate? With savings of 40 to 70%, your neighborhood grocery outlet is the holiday destination. Grocery outlet, market.
Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C Sports. This is Charlton. Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to everybody who loves sports is all fair and love and war. Bienvenidos, Vice, the Grande Deportes. I'm trying to learn new languages for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is to be healthy, wealthy, and wise for my entire family and everybody who loves life. It's all fair, love, and war. Today is beautiful. December the 22nd, 2021. As I say, welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade. Best Cadillac in the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them Charlton Big C Sports sent you. All fair in love and war. I love saying welcome to the show. What a beautiful day. Supposed to rain a lot coming up in Northern California, but you can follow Big C Sports whether it's rain, sunshine, or snow all around the world on 20 podcast applications. That's an early Christmas present. Give that some praise. 20 podcast applications all over the beautiful world. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast, Google Podcasts, Alexa Podcasts, Spotify, Speaker Podcasts on Apple Podcasts. You can follow Big C Sports iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, on Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict. You can also follow Big C Sports on Podchaser. Now I gotta catch my breath. Give me some praise for counting to 10. Okay, you think it's easy? You try counting to 10. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Dears Abad out of London, England. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Podtail, on YouTube, on Hubhopper. You can follow Big C Sports on Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Podcast Repod Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Luminary Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Listen Notes. At number 20, you can follow Big C Sports on Podcast Wise. I think that's funny. You gotta laugh. Count the 20s like I've done my exercise for the day. You can also follow Big C Sports streaming all around the universe on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Really do appreciate that. Following Big C Sports. Give that some praise. Man, it takes a lot counting to 10. I want to pay homage to my family legacy. On my mother's side, my great-grandmother from Mamo, and just a wonderful grandmother. Really, all the great things in life that a great-grandmother can do. I was very fortunate to have her. And then my great-grandfather, Pop, known for making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. Known for saying, boy, get out of that barn. That's all fair. And before, my grandmother called her Muddia, a seer, wonderful person, and just a wonderful, wonderful person. Kept the family together. My grandfather, Hezekiah, and also a very wonderful gentleman. My beautiful mother helped start a Head Start program in Northern California and also helped win the Little League Championship of the universe. Oh my goodness, a Head Start program and Little League Championship of the universe. Give us some praise. Give them some praise. You try doing that, starting the Head Start program, and also winning a Little League championship in a league that's dominated by men is all fair and level war. Then on my father's side, my grandfather called him Albert Curry, a pastor, had 2 service stations in Oakland, California, also had 2 churches, built a third one in northern and central California. And my grandmother, Alberta Curry, helping my grandfather with the churches and also the service stations. My father, retired Air Force fighter pilot and chief mechanic, making sure that planes can fly high so we could all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother Todd, with his bombastic voice, often sound like thunder and lightning. My beautiful son Malcolm gives me NBA stats. He's all over it. College kid, very smart, intelligent, industrious kid. Really love to appreciate the work that he does, sending the stats for NBA basketball for everybody who's not on COVID nowadays. My beautiful daughter, a college graduate, 2 degrees in 3.5 years, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Really appreciate her. She helped me set up for events when coaches came to the West Coast, and also Big C with his wealth of knowledge. Give him all some praise. Give him all some praise. I love saying, let's get ready to rumble. Big C Sports, ESPY-nominated Big C Sports podcast. Welcome to the show. As a lot of people are ESPN are starting to say, welcome to the show. No scripts, no teleprompters, no 3-way teleprompters, no producer in my ear, only a little bit of earwax. I produce the show with my higher self, and I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all of the sound effects for Big C Sports that are provided by the platform. Really do appreciate that. Everybody needs sound effects every now and then. And then I also do the storytelling. The commercials are done by the agency out of New York City. And then I provide the stats. I do the play-by-play, as you oftentimes hear, as long as they make the roster. Steph Curry for 3! Man, a lot of guys are just out of basketball because of the COVID protocol. Canceling games, coaches going on the COVID protocol. Just hope everybody can stay safe. And then I upload the show to the platform. It goes to 20 podcast applications all over the world, and that comes out of New York City. And I really do appreciate the growth that's happening with Big C Sports. I think I'm one of the only sports shows. I've never missed a show since starting Big C Sports September 12, 2015 on Salem Media, and then joining our own platform. Really do appreciate where we stand. A lot of great things coming for 2022. Really want to launch Big C Sports into becoming a $1 billion enterprise, just like Bob Johnson did with BET. A lot of people said, what's BET? Called Black Entertainment Television. What's Big C Sports? Hopefully the next power company in the world of media. Title VII, 1964 Civil Rights Act made that possible. But in the book called the New King James Version of the Bible, I love quoting the scripture called, the land, for all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever. And the book of James chapter 4 verse 2 said, you have not because you ask not. I'm just asking for $1 billion. Just like Bob Johnson said, give me some praise. Give asking some praise. Doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. Keep that in mind. There was no ESPN before there was an ESPN. There was no BET before there was a BET. There was no ABC Sports before there was an ABC Sports. There was no Essence Magazine before there was Essence. There was no Ebony Magazine before there was Ebony. There was no Playboy Magazine before Hugh Hefner started doing it. He turned that into $1 billion corporation. There was no Tesla before he started making those cars. There was no Ford, General Motors before anything started. The book I've been reading again is called Think and Grow Rich. There's a lot of good things that come out of those who do. You either lead, follow, or get out of the way. It doesn't matter how good you feel. Doesn't matter who's on your side. But just like doing Big C Sports, I always believe that out of the heart, or out of the mouth, the heart will speak. And if you want something, you got to ask for it. Asking God, asking yourself, whatever it is. Give asking some praise. Everything you have in your life right now, you have to ask for it, or someone had to ask for you. I love asking for Big C Sports to become the next $1 billion entity, all fair and love and war. I love also asking for our Veterans Crisis Hotline. It's not ours, but it's for everyone that's ever been a veteran in this great country, the United States of America. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. They all need the help. We all need help. Everybody needs help. I know people want to travel for the holidays, and you hear there are even sports teams telling fans, like the Dallas Cowboys, telling their people don't gather right now. I know people don't listen, but you got to do what you got to do. Life is precious. You got to enjoy every moment of it. They really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know any veterans going through issues, Even if it's you, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, just simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and give our veterans some help. Give that some praise. Give the Veterans Crisis Hotline some praise. Everybody needs somebody to lean on sometimes. We all do. We all do. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's a good way to look at life. I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1-3, God said, let there be light. Open your cell phone to say play Big C Sports Podcast. You will see your app pop up somewhere in the world. And imagine, there was a time that it did not pop up anywhere in the world because it wasn't launched yet. There was a time that you could not say play Big C Sports Podcast and have it pop up on any platform that's electronic media. All you got to do is speak into your smartphone or device. How many people can say that? And that's what I love about Big C Sports. It wasn't always in existence, but it's created every day by God allowing the opportunity to plug into what I love doing, which is just sharing knowledge, and everybody has their own flavor of Kool-Aid, and this is my flavor, and I love everybody being able. If you're out there, creator and inventor, doing anything, you know, every billionaire in this country, for every single one of them that started with nothing other than a little bit of money and a little bit of hope, but a lot of dream and a lot of persistence and a lot of vision. That's how it was created. Don't worry about people who are not in your team. Don't worry about people who say, oh, you're never going to make it. Don't worry about people who want to talk crap about you behind your back because they suck. Okay, believe that. Not everybody's going to want you to succeed. Don't worry about it. God knows your plans. You just got to make it come true. You got to make it come true every day. Every single day you rise and shine. Every day. I want to say very happy to be affiliated with ValleyHomesWeekly.com in the real estate industry. The NationalRealEstatePost.com if you want to know what's going on with real estate in your neck of the woods. Also, to find out more about mortgage notes and mortgage rates in the United States, go to MortgageDailyNews.com. And if you want more information, I'm going to also launch in 2022 for the real estate platform that I work with. There's so many great things that are coming. But as a funding consultant for you out there who are trying to get money, and sometimes the banks are tightening up their purse straps on helping you get money. But for funding for 2 years in business, if you have $27,000 adjusted gross income, a 680 FICO score from all 3 credit bureaus, and then we're going to help you with business banking that the Big C team will be a part of. Oftentimes, you've got to have 2 years tax returns and a 1040 in Schedule C. Also, we can ask you information for a 4506T. That comes also for people who are looking to become a business owner. Bank statements last 3 months, looking to LLC, sole proprietors, etc. If you're self-employed, we use that to help you get funding between $10,000 and $400,000. That's launching with the Big C team real estate portfolio as of 2022. So keep that in mind. When your bank says no, pick up the phone, call 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624, and give that some praise. I said give that some praise for the funding consultants joining the Big C team. All fair and level war. Again, up to from $10,000 to $400,000 in capital cash for your business. Just got to have qualifications. 800-772-8624. I also want to say, with everything that's happened, I'm doing an abbreviated show for the Christmas holidays. My goodness, so many great things happening in the world of sports, but also a lot of trying times with a lot of coaches and players being put on pause. And I just want to make sure that I do what I can to stay healthy as possible. Going to be covering more San Francisco 49er football games as they get ready for the end of the year, and they will take on the Houston Texans. We'll be covering that game live from Levi Stadium in beautiful San Francisco, Santa Clara. Don't know if they'll have any home playoff games. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll still win the NFC West. You never know. But also sports betting. A lot of people are sports betting. They have this guy that calls me every day. Hey, Carlton. He knows me so well. Hey, Carlton, I got a can't miss for you. And I've always thought, I say, man, can I bet $5? He said, $5? Don't insult me. I said, $5 is better than no dollars, right? Does that make sense? Since you got the winning ticket? But if you got the winning ticket, why are you trying to share the money with me? Be careful, guys, when people call you, say, hey, Carlton, I got the right numbers for you. Don't bet more than you can afford to lose. All's fair level. Where I want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, but 100% on this game. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, you want to eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meats. If you're watching the big game, you got to have the Big C burger. It does have a lot of exotic meats, and it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. That's what I hear, and I guarantee it. I verified it with my own mouth. Most things taste better in your mouth than they do in your hand. You know, the next person that wants to get wealthy, people talking about how they fight COVID-19 and what type of vaccines we have and other type of vitamins that you can take to help you stay healthy. I think the Mother Nature already equipped us with one of the best remedies for any kind of sickness. I was in a store not too long ago, and I saw a lady carrying a baby. Kid must have been about a year old. And this kid had snot running all down his nose and into his mouth. And she wasn't even wiping it off with a scarf. That kid was taking that snot running down his mouth. He was putting it all of his fingers, and he was sucking on it too. It's like he created his own COVID vaccine. I don't think that makes any sense to you. But give kids some praise. Most people would not run around. Could you imagine a grown person walking around with snot coming out of their mouth and then taking it and rubbing it right back in their mouth? And he had it all over his fingers. It was like glue or something. He had it. Give him some praise. When he had it coming down of his nose, it was all in his mouth, and he was rubbing his hands on it. Would you believe that kid's probably healthy? He didn't have a mask on either. His mother had a mask on. I want to get into tonight's NBA schedule. We have the December 22nd, 2021. Oh, Lord have mercy. Orlando at Atlanta. The game already tipped off 4:30 p.m. It's on the NBA TV. Not going to give you who's winning that game, but you can check it for yourself if you have NBA TV. Also, Cleveland, this is for you. Cleveland Cavaliers at the Boston Celtics. It already tipped off at 4:30 p.m. from TD Gardens. And then Houston, the Rockets are at the defending NBA World Champions Milwaukee Bucks. That game already tipped off at 5 o'clock p.m. And then the Denver from the Mile High City. They are at, I got to get my producer to wake up, producer. Denver at the OKC Thunder. The Denver Nuggets at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Game already tipped off 5 o'clock p.m. And then the LA Clippers at the Sacramento Kings. That game will tip off tonight at 7 p.m. But then there's like 7 players out on COVID protocol for the Kings. Toronto, the Raptors at Chicago, that's postponed because of COVID protocol. Can't travel between Canada and the United States. At least the sports teams and the NHL and the NBA are doing that right now. So that's something that people have to deal with when it comes to how do you stay healthy from COVID. And everybody has their own opinion as to why and how. But even Commissioner Adam Silver, the great Commissioner Adam Silver, he's also doing the Big C pause. He came out and said there will be no pause on NBA basketball games. They used to say stoppage, but now there'll be no pause on NBA basketball games because what good would it do? So Adam Silver came out and said that the NBA has no plans right now to pause the season amid rising COVID-19 concerns. That's just for the players and coaches. But what about the fans? Amid the rising COVID-19 cases in the NBA, the Commissioner Adam Silver says that the league has no plans to pause the season. Right now, he's an attorney. No plans right now. Right here, right now. He has no plans right now to pause the season. But that's not true because they've already paused some games. There's just not a uniformity in it. They've already paused some games. So they've already paused some games and he's saying we're not going to pause any games. That's not true. It's done individually on teams and their state that they're playing in the city. The commissioner can't tell you what to do in California. He can't tell you. So you already have games that are being paused, no matter what the commissioner says. But he says they've looked at all the options, and frankly, they have trouble coming up with the logic that would be behind pausing right now. But that's not true. We've already had several games on pause. They may push them to a different date, but they're on pause. Don't believe anybody that tells you, oh, we're not going to pause anything. There are already some games that have been paused. Brooklyn had a pause the other night. There's pause. Toronto can't play because of a pause in the United States. And so they said they're going to look through the cases literally ripping through the country right now, and let alone the rest of the world. And he thinks that finding ourselves where we sort of knew we're going to get over the past several months, and that's the virus will not be eradicated, and we're going to have to learn to live with it. Tell that to our first responders. You guys live with it. Tell that to the governors around the states. We're not going to social distance. Don't wear a mask. Got to live with it. It's all about money. I'm not saying I disagree with Adam Silver. Silver said that the Omicron variant is beyond dominant in the league at the moment, with 103 players as of yesterday entering the COVID-19 health and safety protocols this month, with over 65 coming in the last week. That's a pause. If the commissioner were being forthright, he would tell you that they're going to pause certain players, but they're not going to pause teams. But they are pausing players. Without players, there are no teams. And as of Tuesday, the league had to postpone 7 games. But I thought he said there's no pause. It's just a play on words. It's semantics. They're already pausing. With the league's marquee Christmas Day game still set to go ahead as planned on Sunday, despite several players from the 10 teams slated to play on Christmas, to honor Christ, or is it buying toys? But currently in health and safety protocols, they're on pause, guys. The Boston Celtics, New York Knicks each have 6 players, while the Brooklyn Nets have 10. However, Silver says that's not a pause. The league does have contingency plans in place to sell people from the G League to come play NBA basketball to get the TV revenue. It seems that it's the right thing and the responsible thing to do. And I believe them, because they're not pausing Walmart. They're not pausing grocery stores. They're not pausing airlines. They're not pausing hotels. They're not pausing anything but sports teams. They're not pausing going 9 to 5. They're not pausing TV stations. They're not pausing any of that stuff. So why pause the league? They're not pausing fans going to games. So I agree with Adam Silver, but it's a bit disingenuous when you said we're not going to go on pause, yet they have over 100 players on pause now. That's a pause. He also added that 65% of NBA players have received COVID-19 booster shots, and 97% of the players are vaccinated, while there currently is not a plan to reduce fan capacities at arenas. Again, no pause. No pause for the fans, but there's a pause for athletes. Silver said the league will continue to follow local mandates. This week, the Toronto Raptors reduced their capacity by 50% in accordance to new mandates from the province of Ontario. The commissioner is not a doctor, he's a lawyer, but they use the best health and safety specialists out there. But the league is on a player pause. It's semantics to say that we're not going to pause anything. Some of your top players can't play. Some of the top coaches can't coach right now. Why? Because they're on pause. Just the truth will set people free. He also said the league will continue to revisit its safety protocols, and we're actually looking at shortening the number of days that a vaccinated but asymptomatic player has to be out. Silver added, everything they're doing is in coordination with the Players Association and the health and safety protocols. But he can only do so much. There's no way they're going to cancel the whole season. But what they'll do is they'll just cancel players as they become fit to be canceled. And that's why there's no pause for the league, but there is a pause for players. Everybody has to realize that if you're a player and you have to sit out for 10 days, then you're on pause. It doesn't matter what the league says. It doesn't matter what a team says. If you can't play, then you're on pause. And you say, well, maybe that's so semantics. The reason the NBA will not go on pause is because of TV revenue. So they'll get more G League players, but their chance to play, their time to rise and shine. But the TV revenue for the NBA, it projects $10 billion in revenue as audiences return after COVID. But TV viewership is a big question. And some points to remember why they'll put a player on pause, but not the league, which is the same thing. The players make the league. In fact, the players make up the majority of the league. But Commissioner Adam Silver says the NBA, National Basketball Association, is projecting $10 billion in revenue this season. $10 billion is a lot of money. I want $10 billion. A notable bump in the last 2 seasons were fan attendance was limited or non-existent. $10 billion is a lot of feel-good money. But the league will need TV audiences to rebound, and concerns linger about the long-term viability of the cable TV model and regional sports networks. Player conflicts and setbacks in China are also troubling. There's a lot of things that you got to do to keep $10 billion coming in. So if you realize the position he stands, the $10 billion would not pause, but players will pause. It's important to know that. It's just important to know that. You got to keep yourself safe. So he was talking about it in a New York City hotel last Tuesday to give a room filled with sports executives an update on the National Basketball Association and the $10 billion celebrating its 75 years of NBA competition in business. And the next few will be pivotal for the NBA, and the NBA returns to an 82-game format on Tuesday after a pair of seasons shortened by the COVID-19 pandemic. So the commission is addressed to the Sports Business Journal world. Congress of Sports Conference came at the perfect time. That COVID is still around, but audiences are back in arenas. As good news for attendance and revenues, I think it's important because it keeps the cooks working, it keeps the staff working, the vendors that do the NBA games, the food service people. It affects a lot of people. Where else can you go to spend $10 on a beer, 1 cup of beer? When you think about it. But it's good news for attendance revenue. Now, I don't know if they're scanning fans before they go into an arena to see if they have a fever or not. But I don't know. Maybe they're going to resume that. But Silva, he told attendees that the NBA expects to make $10 billion for its 75th anniversary. Whenever I cover games, whether it's the Sacramento Kings or the San Francisco 49ers, Arizona Cardinals, Green Bay Packers, whatever team, Minnesota Vikings, Los Angeles Rams, whenever I'm at a stadium, they don't scan me to give me a temperature reading. They just ask for my COVID vaccination card as I'm requesting the media credential. So the $75 billion for the 75th anniversary, the commissioner also said the NBA game presentations are too basic and spoke about the David Stern Cup in an in-season tournament league that wants to incorporate this decade. Now, Silver, 59 years old, also reiterated that cable TV bundles needs fixing as regional sports networks are threatening to really lose a lot of money by people cutting the cord and going streaming. Big C Sports has been streaming on 4 platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. You can follow Big C Sports streaming. Not on CBS Sports, not on ABC Sports or ESPN, but streaming on my own network with Big C Sports. And so it comes to the NBA's international business. Silver walked a very safe line that China still hasn't fully reopened its marketplace to the NBA after Philadelphia 76ers top executive Daryl Morey commented on geopolitical affairs. So the NBA opens with the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks playing the Brooklyn Nets on TNT. What's happened is the business is a milestone season, a $10 billion projection. Take out a piece of paper and a pencil. Write down $10 billion. That's a 10 with 9 zeros behind it. Hey, I like 9 zeros. If that makes sense to you. But Silva says the NBA is projecting $10 billion in revenue this season. Here's an inside joke. 10 billion has 10 zeros. Who in the world would want 10 zeros? That's an inside joke. I do. And you do too, if that makes sense to you. But if you think about it, this is why there's no pause. The money comes from all over the world. Now, the NBA revenue slipped from $8.8 billion in 2018-19 season to $8.3 billion in the 2019-2020 season. Now, the NBA has not released revenue numbers for the shortened 72 games this season in 2020-2021, but Silver addressed reporters on Monday and notified the NBA's revenue was down about 35% last year instead of the estimated 40%. So he said they lost significant amounts of money, $10 billion. It's a lot of money. But the good news is that we're able to take a long-term view of this business and continue to grow it. He said we try to look at it as an ongoing investment in the business over a long period of time. In a loss of individual seasons, they understand that. Now, this is where Big C Sports is a part of. Really love paying attention to this also. Because the media is part when you think about it, part of this league, media rights make up roughly $2 billion of the league's revenue. Just $2 billion of the $10 billion. Now, corporate deals with the companies, including State Farm, Microsoft, Verizon, and expanded businesses within Google, should allow the NBA to pass its record $1.46 billion in sponsorship money alone. Think about that. That's a lot of money just for someone to put their name on an arena. Now with the crypto arena, I think Crypto.com Arena will be the new name of the Staples Center in Los Angeles. I think that's just after Christmas, before the end of the year. I think they paid $700 million just for the naming rights of one arena. Imagine if that's duplicated all over the country. So on the licensing front, the NBA struck an equity deal with Fanatics for its trading cards rights. You're going to hear more about NFTs coming onto the scene. Now, the NBA has a licensing deal with Dapper Labs for its NFT non-fungible tokens of video highlights. It also has equity in the startup, which now valued at $7 billion. And Chicago-based manufacturer Wilson starts its New Age agreement to produce the NBA game basketballs. Now, revenue from advertising on league jerseys, you'll notice now, compared to when NBA got real famous, when it was Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Lakers, and Celtics, you only saw maybe the Jerry West logo on the jerseys, the team name across the front like Lakers versus Celtics. On the back of the name, it could say Johnson on the Lakers and then Bird on the Celtics, or whoever they had, Kareem, Jabbar on the back of the Lakers jersey, and then Parrish on the back of the Celtics jersey. But now, notice what you're seeing when you look at the jerseys on almost any NBA jersey. You'll see licensing deals. You'll see advertisements from sponsors. You'll see the logos. Just start paying attention to it. You'll see not only I'm not going to give out free advertising, but you'll see the licensing deals that are sponsoring these teams. Now, this is also important. Revenue from advertising on league jerseys and patches should increase as teams secure new agreements. The Nets struck a $30 million per year pact with New York-based brokerage platform Wellbull, the richest patch deal in the league. The NBA made $150 million in revenue when its patch program was introduced in 2017. Before the pandemic, league executive Amy Brooks projected a 30% increase. Now, what people think they need is viewership. Yeah, that helps, but they need sponsorship too. Now, TV revenue will be essential for Silver's League to return to its standard 82-game format. The NBA watched the NFL capture an 11-year deal worth more than a $100 billion deal last summer. That's $100 billion. You want to know why we're playing 17 games and 18 before the next 10 years? I'll say this again. The NFL captured an 11-year deal worth more than $100 billion last summer. The NHL increased its rights too, thanks to the NBA partner in a network, the mothership, and AT&T's Warner Media. Silver told the crowd last Tuesday that the NBA's overall viewership is down, and that's a problem if generally 99% of NBA fans never step foot in an arena. As the league said in the past, the NBA wants to triple its rights fees, so a bounce back in viewership would help. The NBA's last opening week started late December 2020 because of the pandemic. The league said games between December 22nd and December 25th averaged about 3.4 million viewers. That included a Christmas game between the Los Angeles Lakers, who have the NBA's biggest superstar LeBron James, and the Dallas Mavericks with the rising star Luka Doncic that averaged 7 million viewers. It's about big names and big-time players making big-time plays. So the NBA will see if any of its games will be surpassing 3.5 million viewers. That number comes from NBA's last regular season opener in October 2019, when the Lakers played the Clippers and averaged 3.58 million viewers on TNT. So Silver's League could achieve the number with the TNT broadcast of the Lakers playing the Golden State Warriors, featuring the league's two biggest superstars in LeBron James and Steph Curry, the NBA's all-time three-point shooting champion, Steph Curry. And the last time the two teams were featured in a game was for a playoff spot in May, and the contest averaged 5.6 million viewers. That's a lot of people watching one game. So the league's biggest event in the NBA Finals in the last 2 years, the results were way down. When the Bucks played the Suns, the Milwaukee Bucks played the Phoenix Suns, NBA Finals, it averaged 9.9 million viewers overall. That was up 32% from 2020 when the NBA bubble saw the Lakers beat the Miami Heat. That averaged 7.5 million viewers. So 9.9 minus 7.5 is 2.4 million more viewers. That's a lot. But it was way down from the 6-game series between the Warriors and the Toronto Raptors in 2019, which averaged 15.1 million viewers. But you could say all of Canada was watching that game, the Raptors being Canada's only team. Now, scheduling may have been a factor as fewer teams were able to get in front of the people. Fewer people watching NBA or watching TV at all this July, the NBA says. And that was a decline from previous years in 2018 between the Warriors and the Cleveland Cavaliers, where LeBron James played average 17.6 million viewers in 4 games. In the 5-game series of 2017, between the same two teams, averaged 20.4 million viewers. So Silver also warned that cable TV business model could break as cord cutting increases. People could get an app and not have to pay such a large cable bill. So you'll start seeing the cable networks going to apps as they get smart streaming. The NBA's national media rights are tied with its high franchise values as more people abandon cable. Regional sports networks could see their audiences collapse. Team revenues linked to local TV media deals would suffer and exposure could drop, creating a sort of downward spiral. How about this? Hire Big C Sports to broadcast NBA basketball. I've been doing it already. Steph Curry for 3! I'll take the $10 billion a year to broadcast NBA basketball. It's better than paying it to other guys who run reruns of shows. It's a clue right there in front of your face. The LA Clippers owner, Steve Ballmer, didn't seem worried about the state of the cable TV when he spoke to CNBC last month because he's already worth $40 billion. But other people are concerned. ESPN laid off 400 people last year. Not because more money's coming in. The big media contracts and people who are on cable and broadcast TV, will the players change the companies like Amazon and Apple and the streaming guys what to become of the games as opposed to just ESPN and Turner? You're already seeing that. You can find games without watching ESPN and Turner. Go to the app. And the teams, as they get smart, they'll have their own app. I shouldn't give out that information. I'm sure they're already working on it. Charge the fans who want to watch your games. Why are they paying to watch games that they don't want to see on another network? They can have your own network. Why am I giving them this information? Because that's where I want to build Big C Sports into. Ballmer continued, will there be some direct-to-consumer offer by the league? I just mentioned that, which is certainly a possibility. Big C Sports already been doing that. You can follow Big C Sports streaming, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV. Because the $10 billion is out there for anybody. It's a lot of collusion that goes on in the business world and trying to oftentimes keep people of certain skin complexions out of the money. But the money's there for everybody. And that's why Title VII is so important, especially for people of color. Give Title VII some praise. I said give Title VII some praise. We all deserve it. We all need to be a part of the $15 billion NFL package and also the $10 billion NBA package. So I just wanted to bring that up because everyone has an opinion about how they're going to watch their next entertainment. You have not because you ask not. I know, just like anybody else that follows this business, if you understand with the cord cutting, the cable cutting, it's a lot like people cut the cable for the phone companies. When I was in college, I remember there were no cell phones. I'm not that old, but there were no cell phones. But you had to go to the phone booth and put money or quarters in the phone booth. Or if you had a landline at home. But now, even kids in elementary school walk around with cell phones. You didn't have that back in the day. So if your consumer can have a cell phone and watch your product, why not buy the app and have the product follow you? As opposed to waiting until you go home to watch something. That's happening all over the country. It's just part of it. And so hopefully things will get better for the consumers going forward. And that's my hope. And I'm going to stick with that. I want to touch on an abbreviated show today. Obviously, got some NFL football last night with the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. They were doing their thing. And then the Washington football team and the Philadelphia Eagles had a game last night also. It's just everybody's trying to get football games in, and they have to move those games to Tuesday night because they were scratched from being on a kickoff on Sunday because of COVID protocols, and people had to figure out what they were going to do with that, and they figured it out. It's just a matter of time and how the league will adjust, but they will always adjust, and no one's going to change that. And I love one thing, not that I love more than one thing, but I'm loving the fact that they're able to adjust games and not cancel games and say, well, we're just going to have to miss that game or make it up at the end of the season. I know Major League Baseball, they'll cancel a game and then let it play at the end of the regular season just to make that game up, or however they get it in. They make sure all the teams get their chance to get their game in. So last night, you saw the Rams, they worked their way through the COVID-19. They had a lot of players sidelined for COVID on pause for COVID-19, and they had a 20-20 win over the Seattle Seahawks, and that was Tuesday night at SoFi Stadium. And that was a pretty good sized crowd in Los Angeles. They were making a lot of noise down in SoFi Stadium last night in Southern California to see the Rams win 20-10 over the Seahawks. And Cooper Kupp caught 9 passes, 136 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Set the Los Angeles Rams single season record with 122 receptions, and that's great for him. He's a great receiver, a big-time player for the Los Angeles Rams. And in fact, the Rams, I'm going to get into the Big C's NFL power rankings, but I'm going to do that most likely for tomorrow's show, because I think I'm going to do it before, well, the game will already be underway. The 49ers and the Tennessee Titans will play tomorrow. But I also want to get into the Philadelphia Eagles with a 27-17 win over the Washington football team. They were getting booed at first, but when I think about Jalen Hurts, he returned to the lineup and took care of business. And he ran for 2 scores, threw for another in a 27-17 win. And that keeps the Eagles relevant for the NFC playoff picture. And he's a star player. I don't know why there's so much flack about Jalen Hurts. Jalen touchdown Hurts took Alabama to the playoffs, also took Oklahoma to the playoffs. I don't know if there's another college player that ever did that took 2 teams after transferring from one to the other to the college football playoffs. I mean, maybe they're out there, I have to Google that. But then you have Tyler Heineke due to COVID-19, and he was, missing along with 5 starters from Washington. But I want to go back to touchdown Jalen Hurts, because he reminds me so much of Donovan McNabb, that also took the Eagles to a Super Bowl back in the day. But there's something about the Philly fans that were booing the Eagles. That's part of a love-hate relationship with Philadelphia and their sports teams. But they were booing the guys because they were not putting up a good effort. And maybe they pay so they can boo. But at the same time, they cheered them at the end of the game when they were able to get the win. So, but the talk against Jalen touchdown Hurts, I don't really know why people don't like a quarterback who can run and pass and score. And all he's done is win everywhere he's gone. And again, look at Donovan McNabb, same kind of athlete. Maybe McNabb had a better arm, but also coming out of Syracuse, he threw the ball a lot too. And then he got into the NFL and they worked on his passing game. And I think you'll see the same thing with a touchdown Jalen Hurts. But find a quarterback that can run and pass for 2 scores in the NFL. They're not that common. He's more of an outlier, more like Lamar Jackson, a lot like somewhat of a Cordell Stewart from back in the day. Randall Cunningham from back in the day was a run-pass quarterback. They had one in Jalen touchdown Hurts. They had one in Donovan touchdown McNabb. They had those guys. Nick Foles wasn't really a running quarterback, but he could scramble, get out of the pocket. Nick touchdown Foles. So when you look at the quarterbacks that the Eagles have had, I'm not going back to the great Ron Jaworski. He was not a run-pass option. He was more of a let their defense get the ball back to you. But the Eagles, you look at some of the star quarterbacks over the years. Randall Cunningham, maybe the best. Touchdown Donovan McNabb, maybe he was better, but they were both, as far as ability, Randall Cunningham was amazing. He took his act to Minnesota, did the same thing, came out of UNLV. So I don't know why they hate run and pass option quarterbacks in Philadelphia. All they've done is win for them in that great organization. And I know they're going to do the best they can to keep winning games. It's just a matter of how they figure it out. Can they figure out how to win consistently? The Eagles, they have a solid running game, better than what a lot of people give them credit for. And part of that is because of what you have in their quarterback position, the run-pass option. So Jalen Hurts, no need in booing him. Even the media in Philadelphia, they want to get all over him. Why? That guy's a winner. That guy's a winner. Got the 2 touchdown rushing and 1 passing. Nothing to hate on. But it's all fair and level where I want to give everybody trying to fight through COVID some praise. Give them all praise. Give them all praise, praise, praise. I want to touch a little bit on college football. I want to hope that Cincinnati, the Bearcats, and the Michigan Wolverines, and the Alabama Crimson Tide, and Georgia Bulldogs can all stay healthy. But Michigan and Alabama, they've done something. They sent their kids home over the holiday weekend, and Nick Saban, notorious for the Aflac duck, there was rumor that Nick Saban sent all of his kids home with paper bags. No one can confirm or deny what was in the paper bag, but maybe some vitamin C and some gummy bears. Who knows? But supposedly some COVID protocols, how to stay safe over the holidays with COVID protocol, because that's going on. So again, can't confirm or deny what was actually inside the brown paper bags, but rumor has it that's what it was. Gummy bears and vitamin C. But when you think about it, the college football, the BCS, which worked well for 2 teams, but now they have the college football playoffs, which works well for 4 teams. I can't wait till they expand. I think they're going to go to 12 teams. But when you think about it, the Final Four, how they got there, and with the pandemic. So Alabama and Michigan, they are doing things to help their players deal with the virus as they go home for the holidays. Michigan's doing all they can to make sure for New Year's Eve, they're the college football playoff matchup in Miami against Georgia at the school that announced that it would be getting booster shots ahead of the game. I think that's admirable. Now, I think even President Biden mentioned that he's going to use the military to help people get booster shots, and they're going to be helping with the first responders. So I don't know much about that, but I heard about that on the news. But it's a good sign that boosters are out there right now. They have a full team booster shot tomorrow, and that's today, and that'll be good, said Michigan offensive lineman Andrew Stuber on yesterday. He said he thinks everyone understands the gravity of the situation. To have an outbreak now would be devastating to a lot of people. Understanding the concern is there's nothing bigger than staying healthy and taking the proper precautions. And I hope and believe they will. The school's already announced that stricter vaccine requirements and testing expectations for all students were coming and will require booster shots for all Ann Arbor, Michigan facilities. That's faculties and staff and students, and Michigan medicine under the University of Michigan vaccination policy by February 4th or as soon as you're eligible. So they're trying to make sure they're doing the same thing. Earlier this week, Alabama handed out some brown paper bags that they often use for recruiting. Just a joke. That looks like the bag you gave me when you recruited me, coach. It's okay. But Alabama earlier announced that it was returning to its safety protocols from a year ago as they prepare for the college football playoffs in their game with Cincinnati. Now, Coach Saban said that he's concerned as the campus is back to wearing masks and social distancing during meetings. He's always concerned when there's an issue out there and want to do the best they can to help their players and be concerned about the issue and respect so they have the best opportunity to stay safe. Nick Saban was also tested positive for COVID-19 earlier in the year and had to set out for a game. They won the game anyway, but Alabama's decision comes at the perfect time as Texas A&M is dealing with an outbreak before they get ready to play in the Gator Bowl. And sometimes it depends on what part of the country you're from. Some people don't believe in science. So this is part where everybody in the room looks at Cincinnati and Georgia, and they wait for them to make similar public announcements. How long will it take them? How long will it take them? So everybody has the holidays coming up. What they're going to do to stay safe. Social distance, mask up. It's really older people you got to protect. They have a weaker respiratory system. So if we end up getting the Michigan-Alabama national championship game by default because Cincinnati and Georgia aren't healthy enough to play, they won't have anyone to blame but themselves. Crazy. But I guess they're waiting for bad news to happen. Maybe they don't watch the news. They're too busy playing football practice. But I still hope. In fact, I want to give Michigan and Alabama some praise. I want to give them praise. Maybe they will play for the national championship. Harbaugh versus Saban, keeping players safe. All fair and level more. Coming up for the holidays, everybody's going to do whatever they can to just appreciate everybody that you can, when you can, and while you can. Life is so precious. And I know we love sports. We can't wait for the big game. Can't wait for the kickoff and the tip-off and the crowd cheering. And that's great. It's a way to pacify us. But I know there's so much to be grateful for coming into the 2022 new year. I just want to do the best I can to make sure I stay healthy and the people that I love. NFL betting market watched the New York Jets could be favored for the first time in 26 games. Las Vegas Raiders' Jonathan Abram has season-ending shoulder injury. Sorry to hear about that. Touchdown Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals. He believes that low COVID-19 totals among the Bengals football team is partly due to Cincinnati's lack of nightlife, and a lot of players aren't going outside of the facilities interacting with the public. The New York Jets head coach, Robert Saleh, tests positive for COVID-19. And I hope he'll follow the protocol. He has to. Tennessee Titans rule that left tackle Taylor Lewan and left guard Roger Saffold are out of Thursday's game versus the San Francisco 49ers. Isn't that something? Houston Texans add wide receiver Brandon Cooks and 2 other players to the reserve COVID-19 list. They have now a total of 18 players. 18. And they're in Texas. Isn't that something? I applaud the Dallas Cowboys. The increase in COVID-19 protocols tells families to stay home for the holidays. You know people aren't going to do that. It's all fair in love and war until someone loses an eye. But whatever you got to do, you got to stay healthy. Philadelphia Eagles coach Nick Sirianni tests positive for COVID-19 and enters the COVID protocol. Isn't that something? I don't know what else to say to people. It's something that we're going to have to deal with COVID. But people can still follow protocols if you know what protocols are. Social distancing, washing hands, wear a mask, stay away from large crowds. And I know people won't listen to that. But that's part of what the NFL is saying that you should do. Will people do it? Not really. Not really. And that's why they're not canceling games. They're only putting players on pause. $10 billion of NBA money is a lot of money. Keep a lot of people employed. Especially people at the top of the food chain. Got to keep that money coming in. Got to get that money, Curry. Got to keep it coming in. And I think the good thing, how could COVID be it's oxymoron to say that the new strand is a good thing. It's better than what happened in 2020 where hospitals were overflowed. More people have been vaccinated. And now this new variant supposedly is easier to deal with and recover from. But we don't know what's going to come down the road. We just don't know. Me, I choose to just keep my distance from as many people as possible. No need in having large gatherings. You just got to do what you can to take care of yourself. So I applaud Michigan and Alabama's football team for doing the same. Why won't Cincinnati and Georgia do the same? Doesn't make any sense. Especially all over the country, you see sports leagues, some of the star players being sidelined with COVID, being put on pause. So I opened up the show talking about Commissioner Adam Silver, saying how the NBA will not go on pause. But that's not true because they're putting players on pause. Big-time players who make big-time plays are on pause. Coaches are on pause all over this country. And they're saying we're not going to stop the season. They're not going to. They're going to bring up G League players. And they're not going to stop fans from coming into the arenas either. So how do we fix it? You got to follow your doctor's advice. They're the ones that help people when they show up in the hospital. I don't know what to do other than say be safe. Don't be in large gatherings. What are you going to do for New Year's Day? I think even New York City has canceled. And I might be wrong because I heard it and I could be wrong. But all the parties that go on in New York City, I hear they've canceled or or they're thinking crowd control over that New Year's Day. Oftentimes there'd be 1 million people in New York City at Times Square for the drop on of the ball. I don't know if they're going to do that. I just heard it, and that's how rumors get started. You can follow your own rumors. Don't just trust what I said, because I heard it, and that's how rumors get started. I hope that everyone stays safe. I said it was an abbreviated show, but I'm so passionate about Big C Sports asking the whole entire sports universe. I want to be the next billion-dollar company. BET did it. Bob Johnson did it. He did it. And a lot of people say, what is BET? What's Black Entertainment Television? He didn't listen to them. He just kept following his higher self. You can follow your higher self too. Back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, you rumble, young man, rumble. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? Ali would say, I'm so pretty. I'm so pretty, I eat so many Big C burgers, I can't possibly be beat. That's why I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, because the Big C burgers make me light on my feet. It's all fair. In other words, my beautiful mother always says there's no excuse for racism or domestic violence. So any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help. Because man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. Happy holidays.